OU, a great institution for academics and sports, a live and welcoming campus. Each structure is uniquely different from one another, with each giving a rich history that even non-OU students come to appreciate. At OU, students are provided the best college experience they have to offer, which could be said for many other universities. For the life of a student, attempting to get the best college experience may not be too easy. As much as OU offers a great experience, whether it be the connections, the Saturday football games, endless hours of staying up past curfew, the main goal is graduating with a degree. This can be made possible through the scholarships a student is given. People seem to think that every student is the same. Unfortunately, they aren't. Same can be said for countless students throughout the nation. One of the biggest reasons that a student drops out of college is financial base. The Education Data Initiative website, a statistic posted by Melanie Hansen, reported that the overall dropout rate for undergrad college students is 40%, with 38% of college dropouts said to have left due to financial pressure. According to the statistic, this just provides a problem for the 40% that dropped. Depending on the student not enrolling, dropping out causes more harm. Since the student drops out, they're faced with fewer opportunities and lower income compared to those that graduate. Without a doubt, amongst the 40% that drop may have had to take loans. College loans are the last attempt a student chooses to receive when they fully maximize how much money they can receive by financial aid and scholarships. Whether it be private or government loans, having to repay the loan is a burden itself. This could potentially strip away that person's financial freedom. Even for the parents, it provides a hindrance to their own agenda. Where does that bring us? Well, here we are at OU during finals week. One of, and if not, the most stressful time for a college student. What makes finals week so stressful for college students? Usually, finals can determine the final grade a student obtains in a class. A student's efforts to maintain their A or B in a class may become obsolete due to the final exam or paper. This creates heavy stress and anxiety for a student, with the overwhelming possibility that a student may have their GPA altered for worse. The circumstances aren't the same for all students. For these two, all they had to do was homework. Wondering why the seats are open? It's because most of the seats are filled here. Most of the students call this place their second home in Norman. You'll find the best environment to study and get your homework done. If you're ever given the chance to take a class located here, check it out. Only the sound of silence, while the clip in this video is played at full volume. Silence compared to downstairs. Here's another pair of students. One on the left, named Parker, is finishing up his business comp final, which is just only a paper. The girl to the right, named Callaway, is finishing leftover homework for extra credits. They are definitely ready for a vacation. Notice how many students are on their laptops working diligently. With 38% of students choosing to drop out, imagine 33% of students dropping out for failing their final. Why drop out from a final? Well, that determine whether they still retain their scholarship or not. When a student chooses to go to the desired university, at times, the university offers money. Aside from receiving money from the university, it'd be best that a student looks for more money to claim. The problem that they may face is where to find it. There are businesses or organizations willing to give out money in return for keeping up with the requirements. Sometimes it can be for wanting a student to reach their potential, or it may be for marketing reasons. But all in all, the student benefits the most. Going for more scholarships is the best option out there. Since it isn't marketed as well, their final exam is detrimental to the student's ability to stay enrolled. Four students were interviewed, each on the premise of their finances as a college student. The students displayed on screen did not get interviewed, with the sole reason being not to intervene with their studying time. With each student, they were asked their major and if they were attending OU on scholarships. If yes, how many scholarships they had and how impactful it would be for the student to lose them. For the students that were interviewed, they were all asked the same questions. All four at one point had scholarships entering OU. Emma, a pre-nursing major, Chase, a health and exercise major, Brian, business finance, and James, also a finance major. Chase, Brian, and James all have similar requirements for their scholarships compared to Emma, who had two scholarships with one being from OU that offered her a good amount of money and another scholarship she received from One Gas. Her requirement for One Gas was to maintain about a 3.5, which was significantly higher compared to the 3. Sadly, her second semester, she didn't reach the GPA requirement and will no longer retain the scholarship. The question had a follow-up. Since they did have scholarships, how important are scholarships for them? Half of them said it was impactful, while the others said that they have no effect whatsoever. James, a sophomore, stated, "I only had one scholarship, which I lost last year. It really didn't matter that I lost it, but it doesn't really have any effect on my performance in school." Same goes for Chase, where he stated that my scholarship isn't the end of the world for me, since I have financial support. Emma stated that losing the scholarships would not be too good, as she doesn't want her parents to pay any more than they do. On the other hand, Brian claimed that his two scholarships don't require high GPAs, but however pay for 1/6 of the total cost. To put into perspective, on the OU cost page, Brian, a freshman, has only around $4,260 paid for in scholarships out of the estimated $25,565 charged. That's excluding the out-of-state expense since Brian is from Texas. For Brian, he mentions that he doesn't want to lose his scholarships. He doesn't want his parents to pay a lot more than they need to, since it'd be a huge liability for them. Another question that was asked is how easy it is for incoming freshmen to receive scholarships, followed by if scholarships are marketed as well. All four were in agreement that certain scholarships are easy to obtain through the university since it's given. Same with marketing, they all agreed how it could be marketed to students better, especially when the student needs more money for college. For students that can only rely on scholarships, Chase described how it can be unfair how students have the drive for a better education, just don't have the financial backing to pursue it. Chase then mentioned how pivotal a role scholarships can play for students earning a higher education. Brian had closing remarks, stating, "If you put the effort into looking for scholarships and applying for a lot of them, then it can be relatively easy if you're a good student. But if you aren't actively looking for keeping up with school, it will be very difficult." Make sure to maximize as much money as possible, whether it be grants and scholarships. Don't let the expenses outweigh the income. If you choose to stay in school, despite losing your scholarship, prepare certain backups, such as what to do with the plan moving forward. If you're still trying to knock out classes, perhaps moving into a community college would be best. Having to drop out doesn't mean you failed. Rather, it means that will be a well until you reach your goals. Hopefully, in years to come, more opportunities can be transparent for students. Even if the marketing is bad, it does come down to how determined that person is when it comes to their education. Is that person really motivated to finish school? Finishing their education is a reason for wanting scholarships. People will deter from college due to how overwhelming it could be. But a high education is another alternative to being successful. Yes, a nice job that can pay 6 figures can be deemed unsuccessful, but for others, it could be graduating with a bachelor's or even making it past their second year. In time, more students will understand how accessible scholarships are whenever they become promoted more.